Aeneid Book 2, lines 201 to 220. In this scene, Laocoon, a priest of Neptune who had objected to bringing the horse into the city, is attacked by twin snakes sent by Minerva. Laocoon, Ductus Neptuno, led or almost the sense of chosen for Neptune by lot, torte, as a priest, sacerdos. So the sense that he was chosen out of a hat to be for Neptune. Interestingly, in other versions of Greek myths, he is a priest of Apollo, but Virgil switches him over to Neptune for this dramatic scene by the water. Maktabat was slaughtering. Maktare is like what a butcher does, but it's in a religious context, at least at the moment it is. Was slaughtering an immense bull, ad plus c accused of when there's no motion, at the customary altars. And we have nice little chiasmus, chiasmus, ebi then be a word order, woo, in that we have the adjective going with aras, the noun, and in gentem going with the noun taurum. Behold, however, Gemini. Now we have to wait till the end of the next line to find out twin what. Twins from Tenedos. Now that was the island that the Greek fleet had supposedly sailed away, but we know now that it was hiding out just beyond the island of Tenedos. Twins from Tenedos through the tranquil deeps. Again, that's metonymy. When I say that salt is sea or deep is sea, I employ metonymy. I shudder as I recall it. Referens is a participle, present active participle, but recalling it is fine. Referro can often be used idiomatically as to recall, relate. Horresco here is a first-person singular because remember, this is Aeneas giving his own account of the attack and the final days of Troy. I shudder recalling it. With immense coils, orbibus here, spheres, but again, that really translates to a sense of coils or roundness. And finally, we get the noun that Gemini was modifying, serpents. So again, Gemini, the adjective, is modifying all the way over here, Eingues, and we were kept waiting for that big reveal. Twin serpents from Tenedos through the tranquil deeps, I shudder recalling it, with immense coils, and finally their verb, incumbunt. They lay on the sea. Pelago here, just dative of object of incumbo. And pariter literally means equally, but since there's two of them, you get the sense it's kind of like side by side. Side by side, they head toward tendere, head toward the shores. Quorum here, of which there is a fine translation, and it refers to the serpents. So the chests of which raised participle modifying pectora through the waves, and whose bloody sanguinei here crests, kind of like almost like a dragon, tower above the waves. Ketera pars, the other part of them, meaning what's below the water. Legit here normally means either to read or to choose, but here it has a slightly specialized meaning, to skim over lightly. Skims, so the other part skims the sea, pontum, pone, here has nothing to do with ponoponere. It means from behind. And sinuo sinuare here, it bends its immense backs, volumine, in a fold, ablative of manner. There's some really interesting things going on with word order here, which we will talk about in class. There's also some very interesting S sounds. I wonder why. Fit sonitus spumante sallo. That's a lot of S sounds, which makes sense for two snakes attacking the shore. There occurs, there becomes, there happens a sonitus, a sound, and this is nominative. A sound occurs. Spumante sallo here, ablative noun, ablative participle in a sentence for no good reason, is an ablative absolute. While, since, although the sea, or metonymy, the salt, is foaming. So sound occurs as the salt or as the sea is foaming. And already the snakes understood. Teneo literally means to hold, but here they reach land might be a good translation. Arwe here is the name of terra. It's technically plowable land, which I wouldn't think of when it comes to a shoreline, but there you go. I'm sure the meter works out better that way. And already they were reaching the shores, and suffecti is a participle, modifying the implied subject of tenebant, the serpents. It means tinged or painted. And here the grammar starts to be as bloody and violent as the scene being presented. Do not worry about why okulos is an accusative. It's called an accusative of respect. Virgil is straight up stealing it from Greek. But it goes a little something like this. Tinged in their eyes, burning, participle modifying okulos, with blood and fire. Now, normally eyes don't burn with blood or fire, but what we have here is a hendiades. It could be with fiery blood, with bloody fire, a little awkward, but the sense of is their eyes are bloodshot or glowing red in some way. So again, tinged in their eyes with tinged in their eyes, burning with fiery blood. They lambebant, they lick their sibilla ora, their hissing mouths, with vibrating tongues, ablative of means, and vibrantibus here is a participle, modifying linguis. Defugimus, we fled, or we flee, either's fine, actually, probably present tense. The other verbs are present tense. We flee, bloodless, on account of the sight. Now, this is not a supine. Sorry to disappoint you. Instead, it's just we are out of blood or pale from the sight. So everybody who can is running away. Ili, here referring to the snakes, they peto, they seek la okoonta. It was already a four-syllable noun. Now in the accusative, a Greek accusative at that, it is now 5 syllables. They seek le akuan, agmine kerto, ablative of manner, with a fixed direction, with a fixed march. And at first, and here we have one of the saddest syntheses you'll ever see. Parva here, small, is modifying corpora, the object of amplexus, or implicat. Duorum here, the genitive adjective is modifying naturum. They don't go for laaquan first. Instead, the snakes embrace amplexus, which is normally a hug, the small bodies of Laocoon's 2 sons. So again, at first, the snake, or rather uterque snake, each snake, having embraced, after embracing the small bodies of his 2 sons, implicat, squeezes. And deposcitor, deponent verb, looks passive, translates active, devours their miserable limbs. Artos, fourth declension noun, and so therefore that's an accusative plural. Their miserable, their wretched limbs, morsu, in a bite. ablative manner. Post ipsum. Now, this ipsum refers to Laocoon. So after they snatch up Laocoon himself, understood. Subeuntem, ferentem are both present active participles modifying ipsum. So they snatch him up, approaching as a help. Auxilio here is a ablative. Sorry, I apologize. It's a dative of purpose, is why he's approaching. So they snatch Laocoon himself up, approaching as a help, and bring ing ferentem, modifying ipsum again, Laocoon, weapons. And the other verb that they do, they bind him with immense coils. Spiris here is where we get the word spiral from. Ablative means. And yam, now we recycle the amplexus from above, this exact same verb. Embracing his middle, bis means twice round. Bis again, anaphora, twice round. And here we have some truly atrociously challenging grammar here. Just stick with me. It is kind of cool, though. I will give it that. Kirkum by itself means around. Dodare means to give. But kirkum do means to surround. But we have chopped up kirkum from dati by means of tmesis. I know, unbefreaking-leavable. Tmesis. So, twice round, having surrounded his neck with their scaly backs, they overcome him, meaning Laocoon. Or more literally, they tower above him with their head and their lofty necks. However you want to take those ablatives, there's a variety of ways of doing it. Ille, he, meaning Laocoon, at once, tendo tendere, here is kind of the sense of attempting or struggling to undo, to part with his hands the coils, the knots. Sweating, perfusos here is a participle. It's almost, I know that it's a perfect participle, but translated almost kind of actively. He's sweating through his vitas, his priestly sacred headdress, with blood. Sanie is like sanguis, blood, but almost kind of dirtier, and black venom. And at the same time, he lifts horrendous shouts, clamores horrendos, ad sidera, to the stars, which of course is very similar to what we saw back in book 1. The exaggeration of lifting them up to the stars.